You may not need this podcast, but I promise you're in the right place. I'm your host, Ben McDougal, with my AI companion and co-host, BenBot. Each week, we're live in the Pour Over Publishing studio to chat with remarkable students, entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, and community builders. Together, we have fun exploring the frontiers of entrepreneurship and technology in Iowa and beyond. If you're a curious leader thirsty enough to make a ruckus, welcome to a friendly jolt brewed to keep you building. Enjoy! We are in the studio with a good friend. Andre Wright is here visiting from Iowa City, and we've already enjoyed our time together. I'm thankful that you've tuned in because this is going to be special. He's already been throwing me a bunch of knowledge grenades, and I'm eager to hear more. Andre, dude, good to have you here.
Oh, no doubt. I'm excited to be here as well.
Dude, it's fun to have you in the studio. And one of the things that you just shared before we pushed record was how entrepreneurship is your network.
It is. And
you are an artist of connection.
Yep.
Share a little bit more about yourself.
Man, I could share a whole lot, but I would start with saying first, I'm a husband, father of three amazing young human beings, uncle, cousin, son, brother, good friend, community member. And then, I go into artist, creator, entrepreneur, what I actually do to earn a living. But yeah, man, I'm just me. I don't know how to really explain that. I'm me, and I'm happy every day. I'm blessed, and I'm grateful to be one of the ones that can give their testimony, especially coming from where I come from and my situations and my neighborhoods, and yeah, man, I'm just me, man. I don't know what else to say, Ben.
Well, there's not. I mean, that's perfect. That's what everyone loves.
Yeah, just me, man. If you ask anybody about me, like back in like 97 and they met me now, they would say the same thing, which is interesting. I've always been genuine and I give a lot of respect, so I get a lot of respect back,
That's cool, dude.
And I like people, you know what I'm saying? I like being around people. I'm very charismatic. If you catch some of my energy, you're going to be, you're going to love me, you know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of people that got a lot of hate for me unless they did something wrong to me and I did something back to them. But, I'm one of those people that just love people.
Well, you've got that inverse charisma. When people are talking with you, they're feeling charismatic just in interacting with you.
Thank you.
And I think one of the things that I appreciate Seth Godin talks about is that while authenticity is something that's often discussed, yes, it's valuable, but it can be a trap. Like if you're authentic every single day, but you feel sick today, do you really want to do business with me while I project my sickness? Or, maybe
That's
I don't.
Real.
So he talks about the fact that people actually want consistency.
They do.
And being consistent is the easiest way to be authentic. There's no trying to be something you're not because it's just you on a daily.
Yeah. I think especially, and let me put an asterisk by this, black people that go to work in Iowa, it's hard for them to be consistently black at work every day. You know what I'm saying? They have this case of uplift suasion, which is a term from the 70s about conformity, being the same as everything else in the room. And so one thing that I pride myself on is just being unique in every room. And I ain't gonna change. I'm wearing my do-rag in this interview. I'll wear my do-rag when I'm teaching. I'll wear my do-rag in the boardroom. I'm still going to be the same person. People ask me, why don't you dress up when you perform in front of people or when you give a presentation? I still wear my hoodie in front of people. And I'm doing it deliberately just so we can kind of maybe take off some of those masks and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be the most authentic person I can be when I'm in any room. So you're absolutely right. It's important to be authentic, and that's how you be consistent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that, dude. And one of the things that caught my ear before we pushed recording as well was that you've met Seth Godin. So I just mentioned his name, and it makes me want to hear this story. I said, wait for the podcast. I want to hear it raw.
Yeah. So in 2013, where Merge is now, it used to be a pizza place. I forget the name. I think it was Fabo's Pizza. And in the interim of Merge being built, there was a number of people during EntreFest that did pop-up shops, and I was one of those people. It was my first time actually introducing my brand, and it was like a big deal, right? Like it was a big deal.
And was this Humanize My Hoodie?
This was Born Leaders United. This was this predated Humanize My Hoodie.
Gotcha.
This was when I was doing the fashion shows and stuff really heavy.
Oh, dude, those were fun. The rooftops.
Yeah, rooftop. Yep, we did that one that year. That was the year of that. And when I was leaving, I was always been a fan of Seth's, and that. I heard he was coming, so I, of course, got my stuff together, rushed over to the Englert, and when I'm rushing over to the Englert, I'm like, I'm gonna go through the back door, like I'm going through the back door, and I see him, and Seth's standing right there. Like I go through the alleyway, Seth's right there. Amanda West is right there.
Hold on,
look,
you met Seth Godin in an alley?
In the alleyway. Hold on, listen. And if Amanda West hears this story, she's gonna second this story because she was there. I had a witness.
I believe you.
So I go in the alleyway, right? And I promise you, I can't remember everything that was said between me and him, but I'm going to give you the special moments. It was like he knew who I was already. I swear on everything. And my brand hadn't been nowhere. I was nobody, man. I was like me, but I wasn't nowhere. It was very magical. We took a picture together. He asked for a picture with me. He said, hey, you got your camera on you? I want to take a photo. It was in super small talk. And this is what he said. He said, guess a number between 1 and 7. And I said, all right. So I guessed this number in my head and didn't say it. And he said, did you guess the number 5? And I'm like, yo, what's going on? How did you know that? And it was like this moment, right? It was like this moment. And it was like he had done this on people before. And like he knew that people would say 5 from saying 1 through 7. And that was the story. That's the story. And it was magical. And Amanda West will say, and he knew who I was. He said my name.
Wow.
He said my name. I didn't have a name tag on anything.
Huh.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's my Seth Godin story, and it's golden.
Yeah.
And he's a real one. His presentation that he gave on stage that day made me change everything that I ever did for a presentation. Like I didn't even want to. I'm like, yo, I gotta get my presentations like Seth from here on out, like, or else they don't matter. It was good,
dude. I feel like that could be the whole podcast. Is, some of your takeaways and how you've evolved your storytelling, whether it was emceeing an event or leading the boardroom or talking with folks on the street, whatever it might have been. So keep throwing those little nuggets in throughout our time.
No doubt.
But it does lead me to one of my questions is knowing that you're in these types of environments and such an artist of connection. What's one of your favorite questions that you ask strangers to kind of activate that magic you just described between you and Seth Godin?
Oh, man. One question that I always ask people that kind of startles, especially adults. I don't usually ask youth this question because they go, I don't know. But when I ask adults what they want to be when they grow up, they look at me and they're like, yo, what are you talking about? I'm already grown. I'm like, no, we're always growing. And I got this from Idris Iba, I believe that's his last name. I saw him doing that. And so I started doing it too. And it's interesting to see people's responses from that. Like people are like very stagnant on like where they are right now, and like this is the end of their life. And then some people have aspirations. Like they like, yo, I don't know, but I wanted to do this, but I'm here. And so it's interesting, like asking that questions, because even me, I'm still growing too. Like I just told you about 3 other projects that I got going on. And those are things that I'm thinking I want to be when I grow up. You know what I'm saying? And so it's good to ask entrepreneurs that and like get the feedback and then like really download what they just told you. Like, wow, this person's here. Maybe even if they're successful, they might even already be successful, but still asking that question. I think it challenges a person to think even more. So, maybe I'm not done yet. Maybe there's some other passions for me.
One of my favorite modern philosophers, I don't know if he gets that tag yet or not, but Naval Ravikant, co-founder of Angel List, has a neat book called The Almanac of Naval, and it's really a collection of his Twitter storms. Naval on Twitter has some impactful, the way he synthesizes big ideas into like 4 words. He's one of these types of characters. And one of the things he talks about is like, we have 2 lives. The second one begins when you realize you may only have one.
Man, that's real.
And so when I think about a question like that, it inspires people to think about the way that they're treating their time. Mm-hmm. And it's never too late to, continue to build.
Never too late.
Yeah. My hope is that a lot of people respond with, I'd like to keep doing this. But the reality is, I bet that's a minority.
It is. I think so. I think people get stuck. And then, either they feel like they've got to continue doing what they're doing to pay bills, or they just haven't found a way to release that other energy.
Well,
even
the responsibilities of life are real.
Oh, so, of course.
There's limitations, and that's why I think your hope for the youth is something that we all share together, because the way people are interacting and being nourished as an entrepreneurial spirit so much earlier on, dude, it can be used in a company, but it can be used to build your own business, or maybe not get you too afraid of a side hustle midway through.
What I've seen from the youth has been outstanding. When our ancestors used to say that the youth always led any movement from the 60s, it was actually true. And because I'm actually witnessing it with the youth that I work with every day, they're on fire. They're so spontaneous. They are patient with the right things, and I hear a lot of times they say, they want everything fast. No, they're patient with the right things. And what I've noticed is that they don't have a lot of learning curves. They eat the computer up. If you put something in front of them.
Born with it in their genes.
Man, it's like they're like baby computers, you know what I'm saying? And I've been able to witness it, and I've seen it, from a graphic communication standpoint. I'll introduce a kid to software. By the end of the day, they're laying out T-shirts and stuff. I'm like, yo, you skipped 50 steps. I was going to show you some stuff, but you got it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. And so that's, for me, is remarkable. We should be talking about youth from that aspect, and it's phenomenal to see how much our youth really, if we pour into them, what they actually can do. Because I got some phenomenal kids I work with, and all of them are dope. And at the Wright House, what we do, we unlock those superpowers. We like the X-Men, you know what I'm saying? I'm like Professor X, you know what I'm saying? We get a chance to unlock their superpowers from an artistic standpoint, and each one of them's different. Each one of them has a special thing, right?
Right.
And I have a personal relationship with each kid. I got about 14, 15 kids right now that I'm working with. Various age groups, from 9th grade all the way to postgraduate. Some of them are even in college. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's a wide range. So I got all these different attributes. That's what they got. They got essential attributes that they can be using to change the world, man.
Yeah.
And they will. They will.
Dude, one of the things that I'm immediately drawn to is initiative. When you see a student show up at an event that they didn't need to come to for extra credit, I'm just I want to help whatever you care about. I'm in,
What?
Yeah.
What? You in the front row?
Right.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Totally.
I'm with you.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
That's something that it always is easy to see, and I'm drawn to. One of the things Nancy Marazzi mentioned when we spent some time here in this studio was the word adaptability. And when I think about the future of work, students who are showing up into these environments that are not the classroom but are the community, they learn how to adapt. That is the future of work.
Yes, it is. I had a space, it was called the Black Liberation Space, and it was during the pandemic, during the time George Floyd got lynched, and I basically didn't know what I was doing, but I had access to a space for 9 months, the old Revival space, and we put a bunch of people in there, right? We had a barbershop, we had a screen printing presses. We had massage, a room where you can go catch a massage. We had spray paint rooms,
makerspace times co-working times everything.
And it was all free. And it was
really?
it was a speakeasy. Huh. So the front had paper sacks on the front. You couldn't come in, and if you knew, you come in through the back, and like you come in and it'd be like this museum full of art, and around it was like ancestral quotes from like Marcus Garvey, from Harriet Tubman. And so we were educating, we were like building community, we were showing work skills, like workforce, like hey, look, we can actually show you how I do this. Like while you getting your haircut, you can see somebody screen printing. So it's transforming the mentality of like our people, and like letting them see like, yo, we creative people, we are expanding people, we like community people. And it wasn't just black people, it was Latinos, it was Native American, indigenous people. It was all kinds of folks coming through there, and we kept it on the low. We never told anybody about it. Then we made a film about it, and the film became this community project, and it allowed us to raise a lot of money to get the project that we have right now, which is the Wright House, where it's on 910 South Gilbert in Iowa City. And so we use that way of, this is great entrepreneurship for anyone listening. We used a piloted project that I didn't really know it was going to be a piloted project, but I kept it in my pocket. I didn't go to the media. I didn't like make a bunch of videos and all this stuff, and didn't make a big deal about it to the end. And then I captured it, and then I took it around the world and got it into film festivals. And once it got into film festival, it became this hot commodity, and I could bring it back to our community. And then I can do our own little showings from it, right? And then I can have the conversation about what this means to our community to raise the money to get it to where I'm at right now.
It was like the report from the experiment.
100%.
Right.
But it was visual. It wasn't numbers. It was like, this is an emotional report.
Totally.
Like, this is the state of our community right now. Hey, you want to help? Here's an opportunity.
But it showed reality. It showed truth. It showed action in that report.
Yep.
That built trust to be able to do it yet again in a similar or maybe even larger capacity. Right. Before we go to break, Andre, I want to ask, like, this is a huge thing, but uniting a movement, and the reason I want to bring it up quickly is because we've already talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, you talked about allowing the youth to lead.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's one of the things. We just talked about like showcasing the art and shipping that art and connecting it at a global level. Yeah. To me, that is another piece of that.
No doubt.
What are some other like attributes of a movement that you are inspired by?
I think with any movement, people want to be a part of something, right? Even with gangs, people want to be a part of gangs, and people
it's like that sense of belonging.
Yeah, it's like yo, like you got the same type of energy that I want to absorb. And so, like, how do I be a part of something that's snowballing into something? And a movement doesn't take a lot of people too. I want people to understand that, because Humanize My Hoodie was only built by 2 people, and it's one of the largest Black-led movements for humanizing Black people in the world. And I, you know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't take no army of people. Yeah, we got an army now, but it took 2 people to start it. You know what I'm saying? So how do you blow something like that up? And I think it comes with belief. It comes with passion. It comes with working on it every single day, being 10 toes down. Everything that we said, did, moved, believed, it was something that we really, truly felt, like, through our bones. It wasn't like, it was like from the gut to the skin. It was like Humanize My Hoodie was like a real thing. It was, and it still is. And it's like, we needed those conversations at that time. We needed to have those conversations. And, looking back, I'm grateful that Jason and myself were chosen to have those conversations, because I don't know if we could have trusted other people with the same type of energy to do what we did during that time. We made history with that. I mean, people know that more than they even know my name. Like, they'll say, Humanize My Hoodie. I'm like, but they don't know me. They don't really necessarily know I'm responsible, and I'm grateful for that too, because then it gives me a little bit of privacy amongst my family. When I'm moving around, they don't really know. I can see somebody with the hoodie on, they don't know it's me. So it's easy to build a movement, and there are a lot of attributes. I think, actually, let me rephrase that. It's not easy to build a movement. It's easy to come up with an idea to build a movement, but it's hard to actually build it. like the idea part is the easy part, but the build up movement, it takes years, consistency, staying 10 toes down, having the same through line over and over and over again, and showing up when sometimes you probably don't even want to show up.
Yeah, that consistency is something we talked about at the very opening of the show. Like, that's a huge element as well. And I think about recent writing from Brad Feld talking about passion is important, but it takes like obsession.
Yeah, you got to be insidious with your passion. You got to go crazy, you know, like.
Fortunately, that type of mindset leads to like resiliency, so you can stay strong because it's not the easy path.
Facts.
This is a little bit of a shift, but it's a fun tweetable thought. I often tell students, like, you as an entrepreneur work 80 hours so that you don't have to work 40.
Facts. I feel like I never take any time off. Like, you know, like I'm going to New York, so I really want to enjoy myself. Like I'm going to take a few meetings, but not too many. I'm always working.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, I mean, like,
this is a lifestyle.
Yeah. So it's not like, do I get a chance to get the day? No, I don't have any days off. If I'm thinking about it, then I'm working. You know, like if I'm giving my brain space to think about business or how I need to get this invoice out, that's work.
100%.
That's work.
100%.
And it's hard to turn it off too, dude. It's so hard.
Well, but we love it.
Yeah, I don't want to turn it off. It's like a broken faucet, man. And I hope my shit. I hope my knob never breaks.
Yeah. Another fun tweetable thought for the students tuning in is like, you know, your parents want you to make money. You want to do something you care about.
Facts.
The balance does exist. It's things that look like work to others, but feel like play to you.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. So I just got this shirt in the mail. It's the icon, the logo, the NFT, the representation for You Don't Need This podcast. And it just came out so cool, I thought, maybe I'll make one for you. Huh? It looks sweet under a hoodie. I was trying to think, all right, so I'd buy a t-shirt, sure. But what if there was a digital asset? That thing is a phygital item. It comes with an NFT if we want. Boom. Down the fairway, eh? Check them out. Enjoy. Welcome back to the studio. Andre Wright's in the house. Let's just jump right in, my friend. One dinner guest, past, present, or future, who would it be?
I'm about to throw everybody off with this one.
I can't wait.
My dinner guest, I would want to have Banksy be my dinner guest.
Banksy.
Yes.
I don't even know.
That's why.
All right.
Because no one knows who Banksy is.
Everyone's like opening up a new tab.
Well, Banksy is the streetwear graffiti artist, right? That did a ton of graffiti all over the world, who never revealed who he actually was.
What?
Yes. So he's this mysterious dude who does this really, really compelling political graffiti work that's been nationally, globally known. He's like a big deal.
Banksy.
That's Banksy.
I'm asking BenBot, who is Banksy? And I want to see what
he's about to pop off, dude. I'm telling you. This is
the one thing BenBot just cannot answer.
Yeah. Well, he's going to answer this. This is how everybody knows Banksy. And you're going to say, oh, that's how I know him. So you remember the guy who bought the painting at the auction and it shredded on him. Remember, as soon as he bought it, the painting shredded then.
This is like James Bond.
He spent like $4 billion or $4 zillion on a painting, and it shred instantly.
Huh?
You know, you heard about that, right?
I don't.
You don't?
I mean,
oh my god!
I can imagine it, but I don't think I like.
I'm going to dinner with Banksy because I'm going to reveal. I'm going to know who he is. Then you know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Like the Web3 community is thinking about what's his name from Bitcoin.
I know exactly. You know who he is, right? Absolutely. So I'm going to dinner with Banksy, man. We're gonna get it.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Sure.
BenBot suggests that it's a pseudonymous British street artist, political activist, and film director.
Absolutely, that's him.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. That's cool, dude.
He would be cool just because I'm like, dude, how'd you get away with all that? Like how'd you do it where no one knew who you were? You never wanted fame? Like, I would ask him all these questions, and I would have the keys, and no one else would but me.
Ooh. All right. Shifting gears. Tips for emceeing events. Dude, that was the first time that I met you. You were just rocking and rolling on a 1 Million Cups Wednesday.
Really?
And I just was like, dude, this guy is able to create a sense of unity in a room. So you talked about it a little bit when you opened up, but anything that flows through your mind for people that might not be on stage or in front of large groups very often, how can they feel a little more comfortable in that space?
I think you do it with all humility, and be natural, be yourself. I think early on in my years, I practiced a lot, like looking at myself in the mirror and saying my name, or like just feeling uncomfortable. And through those practices, I built up a muscle memory of like how to stand in front of people. I did a lot of training too, so like don't get it twisted. I did Dale Carnegie. Shout out to Dale Carnegie because that was big. I've done Toastmasters. I've done a lot of different like training, knowing how to present yourself, and so a lot of that came into play. But now what I do is freestyle. I'm like Jay-Z or Lil Wayne or whatever, right? I can stand in front of any room just because I've done it so much, and I never rehearse. I never rehearse any of my any of those cool presentations you've seen. I never rehearse. Mm-hmm. I never even think about it.
You know the thesis. You know where you're going to guide people to, and a couple of the pit stops along the way. It might even have a slide or two, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like you're memorizing it. You're never going to read it from a note card.
No, and I'm having fun.
Right.
Like, that's the big part. It's like if you're not having fun doing it and you feel nervous, then you probably shouldn't do it, Or you should do it, and you should continue to do it. And continue to do it
until
you feel
some
like
grace.
some natural.
It's
until
going
you
to
feel
take
natural.
some practice,
you
said.
Yeah, until you feel like you're natural at it.
What's one of the earliest memories of fashion? And knowing that music is also a pretty active part of that art. When you think about technology, music, fashion, was this just around you as a kid, or when do you remember some of these first inspiring moments?
Oh, that's interesting. I think I was always surrounded. I grew up in the early 80s, so...
We are the NES generation.
Yeah. We grew up with the computer. So my dad used to build computers in our home. So I got the chance to see that, right? Like, that was special for me because it allowed me just to be comfortable with technology from a young age.
That is hands-on.
Absolutely.
In the
He
house.
used to build a computer. I used to see him doing it.
That's very nerdy.
Look, not only that, my parents used to have photo shoots of me and my brother, like with those curtains like that. They'd have a photo shoot with us with lights and everything, like at a very early age. So we knew about fashion like young, like young. And I'm from Waterloo, and we all about flyness. You know what I mean? Like, you go to Waterloo, we the flyest people in the state. I don't care what nobody say. Like, I hands down, we used to heavy starch iron our guest shirts in the middle with the herringbones. With the Jabot jeans, like like we used to make statements with fashion.
Sure.
Like that was like our thing. And as far as hip hop, that was like our soundtrack. That was like our backdrop to everything we did in our neighborhoods, to like our walk to life. My first memory of hip hop was MC Light tape that I got from a cousin of mine. A white tape, and I used to put into my boom box. That was what the radios were called back then. Yeah. And my dad found out that I was listening to this obscene music and took a hammer to it and smashed it in front of me. Yo, it was the most I was destroyed.
Dude, I have a story for you.
Okay.
All right. So I had a book of CDs that were also explicit. And when my dad found that whole book of CDs, including the Outkast album, which also had a little nudity involved,
Ooh. I remember that album cover. I drew that album cover before. I drew that one. I was the girl with the afro. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I feel your pain.
Yeah, man, it was disastrous. But think about that.
Yeah.
I went on in my career to create comic books about hip hop. Like, all my friends are in hip hop. I'm going to New York tomorrow, and I work with record labels. Think about that. From smashing my MC Light TV as a kid to now like being involved.
You've just been spinning through anger.
Yeah. Like, this is my revenge. Just going to New York. I'm gonna work for the biggest record label in the world. Take that.
Oh, Dre.
Don't ever scratch my MC Light tape again.
Dude, you need to find another one and give it to him for Christmas.
That would be crazy. And I'm talking about she was spitting on that joint. Like, it was like hard. It was like a great tape.
Oh, remember how
my
the tape
first
would get
one,
strung out on
dude,
accident? You're like, no.
You do restring it. You restring it with your finger.
And it kind of hurt.
Dude, it kind of, like you have that little crease around your index finger. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Man.
No more the days, man. You guys don't know anything about that.
Oh, I know. That's why I joked we are the NES generation. It was like the first round of video games that were actually fun to play.
Atari, Genesis. What else was there? Nintendo.
All right, so we're talking about the youth.
Yeah.
What a drastic emotional shift this can be. What's your hope for youth? I mean, you work with so many different types of people and you're interacting with them. Earlier, we were talking about the opportunity to not discount their capabilities. They're mini computers, as you said.
Yeah.
But when you think about that opportunity for them to lead, to inspire movement, to do things on the timeline of now, what else comes to mind?
I think for me, I'm hoping that I'm inspiring the youth to know that anything is possible. Like they've seen me, go through the trenches, to building a fashion line, to being an organizer, to speaking my mind, to having a family, really being a black ambassador for our community. You know what I'm saying? And they can take that blueprint and mirror it. And so what my advice for anybody young coming up is that just know that whatever somebody telling you is not your it's not what it is. Your story and your path and your road is your road, and whatever you do on your road is your road. And even when adults give you advice, you got to understand still this is your road. And nothing is impossible. Everything is an opportunity, and if you feel it in your gut, then go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the main thing. Like it's not about like, man, y'all stay in school and do because we don't know if school won't be right for everybody. So my thing is just use your critical thinking skills and, you know what I'm saying, be able to do what you love and love the people around you. Make sure you take care of your community. Like, you know what I'm saying, take care of your friends. When you tell somebody you love them, really love them, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Those are the things that they're not being taught, and those are the principles that we need to be teaching them, you know what I'm saying. And the other thing I want to say to the youth, nothing's given. Always earn everything, you know what I'm saying. You earn everything. You'll never have to worry about nobody trying to like come back and say, hey, look, I need that, or hey, you owe me whatever. Just get it out the mud and earn it, you know what I'm saying, and you'll go far.
I think about the fact that feedback is data. And so the more feedback you get, the better decision making you can have.
Facts.
And if it's only from one source, that's a little polarizing, and it could shift you away from something that might have been a good direction. I also know that you work a lot with creators. And so I'm thinking about maybe shifting just again and asking, when you're working with these different types of creatives, what is the conversations around right now?
I don't know. They're all inspiring. I think like we're on the cusp of like some new technology. I feel like we looking a gift horse right in his face when it comes to like a revolution, especially with my fashion folks. Like I feel like there's a shift happening, and we're right at the beginning of it, and we all have a role to play. Every human being in the world has a role to play. We just don't know what role it is. We talk a lot about that. I think we talk a lot about not doing senseless business, meaning like business with purpose now. Like everything matters. We're not just doing this to make money or make a profit. Like we doing this to shift the culture, move a policy, or shift a heart or a mind around something. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the things, those are the sweet spots that people are talking about.
That's so much more lasting than financial capital.
Yeah, because money come and go. Like,
and he'll be drawn to you if you're doing something that has momentum.
Yeah, so that's my friends. We talk about stuff and like that stuff and like how we can move the culture. Like, you know, we want to be like people that are influencers. If we're not already, right? If we're not already influencing stuff, we feel like we got the solution. The people that I'm hanging around are saying stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like they feel influential, and so, and it's a lot of it's a lot of good joy right now. Like everybody's happy. You know, for the most part, my friend group they all got like some major thing going. You know what I'm saying? So when we get together, it's like real. You know. And when I say my friend group, these are entrepreneurs. Most of my friends are entrepreneurs or people who like run a business, you know.
Well, and that's part of this lifestyle is being around your peers who understand that this can be a lonely roller coaster.
No doubt. It is. It's very long. It can be lonely, you know. And that's one of the reasons why I started that mentor thing with ICAD because, I didn't want to have people in their business alone because I know what it felt like. It's difficult to do stuff by yourself. Sometimes you just need to be surrounded by people, whether they're helping you or not. Just being in a room with other people is just important.
Well, and finding a way of doing that consistently, and also not getting stuck with a single tribe, like being curious enough to continue to explore different environments.
Absolutely. That's why spaces like this is important.
Yeah. Well, okay, so a couple more quick thoughts. I know we probably should have segued this when I asked about the hope for youth, but knowing you have 3 startups that pay in love, I'm curious what you've learned as a dad and maybe share a top parenting tip.
I learned so much as a dad. My top parenting tip would be, as a father, just to be present in all aspects, meaning like as a business person and entrepreneur, it's really difficult to have that balance, but just make your kids is just as important as your business or even more important. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes we get lost in the sauce when we work. And we think like, yo, I ain't got time for that. But really, in reality, I remember when I used to work a 9 to 5, and I would pray that one day I could pick my kids up from school. Now I pick all my kids up from school every day.
And you drop them off.
And I drop them off, right? And so I got the best of both worlds. And I recognize that, and I'm grateful. Be grateful for your kids. You know what I'm saying? Be grateful that you got like 3 humans that are yours. You know what I'm saying? And you got a big responsibility. And I don't take that. Like, to be 100% honest, me being a dad is the biggest job I got. Like, everything else don't matter because at the end of the day, it all leads back to that job. Like, to be a great dad and to be a great father. And you know what I'm saying? Just to be there for my kids, you know?
That's cool, dude.
I take my kids around the world, dude. They've seen so much.
And traveling expands minds.
Absolutely.
So
I want my kids to be global.
Are fortunate.
They're global kids. They're They're not just stuck in no small mind. No. Right. And so as much as I give my youth and my kids who come through Wright House, my biological kids, they get 10 times fold what they, you know, like I'm giving them everything. Imagine what that's like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very grateful and they very lucky. Let me put it that way.
I agree completely. Well, Dre, this has been a treat. We probably should close down. However, I feel like the future of fashion, the future of clothing was one little thing that we probably should have segued to more naturally, but I want to fragment this ending just before we close. What do you see like down the horizon of fashion?
I think I see a revolution.
I mean, I feel like you've talked about it a lot with our time here today, but just articulate it one more time.
I see a revolution of responsible people globally actually doing what's right because of what is happening to our landfills. You got more people wanting to be more in technology because there is alternative ways to do the fashion thing to look nice, to have that type of ambiance. And for me, my future says, hey, you know, can I even do things more responsibly? Can I make a T-shirt out of bamboo or hemp and it become like scalable from Iowa? And we become like a manufacturing hub for doing some of those things. So it's challenging ourselves to think outside of the box on what we can do with the fashion industry, knowing that petroleum and synthetic fashions fill our landfills. That's why all these conversations are happening around digital fashion. So let's get to the root of it. And if we can get to a place where fashion can be more augmented, it can be more digital, and it can be more environmentally friendly, whether it be fair trade in China or here in United States, I feel like that's where we're going. We're all thinking about how to be more responsible. I think that's our responsibility also to think about that. You don't need any more new T-shirts, bro. You don't. You really don't. You don't need
as
any.
You would say, fact.
You don't need any more. You don't need any more hoodies.
Yeah.
You don't need any more jeans, any more shoes. You have enough.
Mm-hmm.
You have enough. So how do we like decrease our closets too? Right? Because that's part of it. Like we consume so much and we feel like we need. I'm saying that because I'm talking to myself. But those are all things that we got to be thinking towards as we move towards the future. Like, can I wear? Can we create a T-shirt or a hoodie that maybe changes colors for you because you might want to change the color and you do it from an app from your phone? Can we have it where it maybe has an automatic washing system in it where it just washes itself so you don't stink and you could wear it like 3 or 4 days in a row? So these are the things we need to be on the cusp of thinking about. Like, how do we get to that point? And what are the building steps? What's the rollout to get past there? And I'm working with some pretty cool companies. Like, I got this company, they're making like this alternative leather out of bark. Tree bark. It's cool. And they're out of Peoria, Illinois. They're dope.
Nice.
And I want to work with them really bad. Like, they're awesome. So
we've had some good conversations around fashion on this show and heard the word sustainability a lot.
Yeah.
And even like adaptive manufacturing. Imagine you arrive at your hotel and it's 3D printed instead of even carrying it on the plane over to New York.
That's hard, man.
Right?
That's
right.
hard,
So
man.
there's a lot of neat ideas that are continuing to evolve. Dude, this has been an evolving show that has started great and continued to get better.
Well
Thank you, Dre, for joining me here in Des Moines. This has been a Sunday recording.
No doubt.
What a special time together.
For sure.
As we close down, my friend, like, share how people should connect with you, how they can stay in tune. We'll have some show notes. Click around, of course. And then let's leave with your voice, right? Let's have that mic drop moment.
No doubt. You can connect with me on Instagram. You can connect with me on Facebook. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Instagram, it's International Dre 78. Facebook, it's Andre Wright. Same with LinkedIn. I'll leave with everybody with this. I always think, and since this is an entrepreneurial programming, and I talked a lot about art, but let's talk about business a little bit. So if you want to make $1 billion, let's say if you want to make $1 billion today or tomorrow, which would be pretty hard to do after what I'm going to say, but over time you can make $1 billion. But the first thing you have to do before you make the $1 billion is change 1 billion lives.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of You Don't Need This Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this weekly dose of innovative energy. Thanks to all who make this show possible. Be sure to smash that subscribe button, and I'd love to learn more about what you're building. Hit me up over at benmcdougal.com, and until next time, may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Keep building.